Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our inaugural interview with a Hotelier webinar series. Today we are honored to have Vidhya, the Acting General Manager of Park Inn by Radisson. Thank you for that. Here in Westlands. Today is the 13th, Friday the 13th, and we're going to change it to be a very positive day. So, Vidhya, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you, and thank you for the interview.
Oh, you're most welcome. We actually are very honored to have you and for you to have agreed to be our first interviewee. So why don't we get into it? Tell us, who is Vidhya?
So Vidhya KWOBA is a passionate hotelier in the hospitality profession, 15 years in the industry. Started off as a management trainee with Sarova Hotels, grew into the role, moved into reservations, worked in Tanzania, I've worked in Zanzibar, and now back home in Nairobi as the revenue manager at the Park Inn by Radisson, and now taking up the challenge of an acting general manager.
Wow, that is amazingly impressive. Does the world look different now that you're an acting general manager than it did when you were a revenue manager, or does it make even revenue management that much more important?
Actually, it does make revenue management more important, and realize that when you're a revenue manager, it's just you are actually playing even that role of offering direction to the hotel. But now coming in as an acting general manager, you have to look at things from an even more holistic perspective, involving all the players, which we worked with as a revenue manager, because when you're a revenue manager, you interact with the finance department, you interact with the sales and marketing department. But now as an acting general manager, you're now involving the operations department to be able to make more decisions. Yes.
Fine. So what attracted you to revenue management as a career in the first place? How did you get into it?
It was more of a default where by that time working at Sarova Hotels, and there was need to now introduce revenue management, and I was in reservation. So by chance we were brought into revenue management, and it's been a field that I've come to love. I love analyzing, I'm very analytical, and revenue management calls for analytical skills. I love understanding what's happening in the market. That is more market intelligence, which revenue management has shaped me and helped me now even understand the market even better.
Okay, so in that case, do you think revenue management is an art or a science?
Revenue management is both an art and a science.
Okay.
Art of you selling the right room to the right guest at the right price. It's a science when you have to come in and now analyze the data and be able to understand why is somebody buying, why is somebody making this decision. So it is both a science and an art. Okay.
So at the end of the day, hospitality, you can have like lots of parties or events, you can have guests sit in the room, but as a revenue manager, hospitality is all about the numbers.
It's not just about the numbers, it's about the quality of the number. It's,
okay.
Who is coming in, at what rate are they paying, and why are they paying that price. And it's all not about just the high, the number in terms of the high price. It's about what is happening at that particular time. The demand will also drive what, the demand in the market will drive how and what to charge at any particular time. So yeah, it's just not about the numbers, there are more metrics to look into.
Okay, so are you having any particular challenges with revenue management now, or previously did you have regular challenges on a daily basis? Has Corona made things worse? What have you experienced?
Well, coronavirus has actually made it, has elevated the role of a revenue manager, where now you're coming in and just being able to make a lot more decisive decisions, because I know coronavirus came and the demand was almost zero, so there was the push, or there was that the challenge of just dropping the rates so that you can be able to attract customers. But realize that even if you drop the rates and there's no demand, you're actually just losing out on that customer that will have walked through your door. So at the end of it all, yes, coronavirus has actually just made us understand or realize the importance of revenue management in terms of, is it just the rate that you're looking at, or is it what are the other factors that you need to look at? What is the demand like? And even if you drop the rate, are the guests going to come in, and at what cost? Because there are other costs involved even as you attracting the numbers because of dropping the rates. So at the end of it all, you might actually end up you're working more, or you're serving more guests, but your net returns is actually very little.
Okay, so Do you think a revenue manager can be effective without a revenue management system, or are there ways of working without needing a dedicated revenue management system?
Delinking revenue managers from a revenue management system is shouldn't happen. You need a revenue management system because you need systems to be able to make decisions. You need systems to be able to provide data to work with. So without a revenue management system, and you don't just have necessarily must have a revenue management system, you can craft or you can customize your system to be able to provide the data that you require.
Okay, so then in that case, a revenue manager needs certain skills. What skills do you think they would be most essential, and what skills do you really rely on?
As a revenue manager, number one, you have to be a good analytics. You have to understand your figures. You need to understand the numbers. So analytical skills is very key. You need to be able to have communication skills because you need to be able to communicate the data or the analysis that you've done to the people that you're working with. So communication skills is key. Foresight in terms of hindsight, just understanding what's happening in the market. Intelligence, market intelligence, just understanding what is happening in the market. So you really must have your ears on the ground to understand what's happening in the market. That will help you shape or make decisions that can be profitable to the organization.
Okay. So now, as a revenue manager, you had certain metrics you used to look at, or you still look at. But as a general manager, do you have other metrics you look at? Could you give us an example of the metrics as a revenue manager and then as a GM?
So as a revenue manager, the KPIs that we rely on are the ADR, the average daily rate. You have your occupancy, you have your RevPAR. We've moved now to TrevPAR, we've moved to GoPAR. But now, as an acting general manager, you need to look at your EBITDA. How much is the NOP? What is the net returns to the owner? Because remember, as an acting general manager, you now also you report directly to the owners, the key stakeholders. You report directly to the regional office. So yes, what is my NOP? What are the costs? Because as a revenue manager, your focus mostly will be on revenues. But now, as an acting general manager, you're looking at your revenues. You're also looking at your costs, and at the end of it all, you're looking at your EBITDA.
Okay. So what do you think the future of revenue management is? Is it going to become more important, less important? Is it, what exactly is going to happen now that Corona is here to stay for quite a while? Does revenue management have a future?
So I see revenue managers move into to be commercial directors, being able to make decisions holistically as opposed to just now maybe focusing on their role as a revenue manager. So yeah, it's bright.
Okay. So as we were coming here today for the interview, we noticed there's a lot of roadworks for the Overland Express that they are trying to build from the airport to Westlands. Has that affected your business?
Yes, it has. However, thankfully, the key stakeholders involved, the NMS, the KENHA, the Kenya Power, we've come together and we've now agreed on a solution to be able to make this process less painless for our customers and also less painless to us as the business partners, and also to just be able to facilitate them to be able to work. And they've given us timelines, and we are now optimistic that all will be well.
Okay. So for potential guests out there, there's no worry, they'll be able to still come to the park-in by Radisson?
Yes, we've been able to make access roads for them, and even the NMS has promised to even make further access roads to be able to for our customers to be able to access the business.
Fantastic. So would you have any words of advice for somebody who's aspiring to be a revenue manager?
Yes, just love your job, love what you do. At the end of it all, it's when you love what you do, then everything else falls into place. Love what you do. Study, of course, go to school to get the basics of revenue management, and be able to just have an ear on what is happening in the ground. Then yes, you're able to make a good revenue manager.
Okay, and is there any particular career path into revenue management, or can somebody start in any hospitality department and then get into revenue?
I think of recent, there are specialties where you can do a certificate in revenue management, and then you can fall and go into that career path of a revenue manager, regional revenue manager, and overall as a district director or a cluster revenue manager. However, for most hospitality or schools in Nairobi, the almost defined path is either front office, where you move in from front office reservations, and then you grow into that role of revenue, or you can move from sales and come into a revenue manager.
Okay. Any parting shot, any phrase you use to drive your life?
Yeah, tough times don't last, tough people do.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Madam Acting GM. We really appreciate you giving us your time for this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.